Everyone. So today I might make a bit of a longer video today because it's going to require a bit of time to explain how one can make money trading cryptocurrency P2P. Now I emphasize can because I'm going to give you all the processes required to do it, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to do it. It's going to depend on what you've got going on in your own personal circumstances. I think that trading cryptocurrency P2P for a living is something that is a real hustle. You can make a lot of money doing it, but it's not something that's going to become, it's not something that will come to you intuitively or simply. I'm going to give you some fundamental frameworks to go by without going into too much specific details because I don't want to give away my personal method for exactly how I do it. If you're going to make money in this particular arena, you're going to have like certain strategies that you use to employ that other people obviously don't know about. And I don't necessarily want to tell you the exact specific things that I'm doing. Otherwise, it's just going to hurt myself. But I want to give you an overall framework about how you can get involved in this. And then if you take my advice and you keep working on this enterprise, perhaps over many months or perhaps a year or two, you can actually have a solid business trading cryptocurrency in the P2P markets. So where I want to start with this is the idea of what I like to call jurisdictional arbitrage, right? So if you think about it, if you go to Binance or Bybit or whatever, you've got what you call an AMM. That's an automated market maker, which is you've got a list of buying orders and selling orders, right? And there's millions of people all throughout the world that can just sell their Bitcoin on the open market, on the spot market, and get paid for it. There's people that can do the opposite, but for buying, right? So there's not really any barrier for entry. I know there are definitely some countries that they have a hard time signing up to places like Binance or stuff like that, but for the most part, it's when you consider it having a low barrier for entry. Virtually anybody on the planet, well, most people, I'll say, can sign up to Binance, can sign up to Bybit, and can place a buy order or a sell order. Now, on the P2P cryptocurrency exchanges, what you'll find is that there are a vast array of various payment methods that are different to what you get on a traditional exchange. On a traditional exchange, if you want to send funds to the exchange so you can buy Bitcoin, you do it via bank transfer. That is the primary way. As far as I know, that's the majority of ways in which you do it. And most people don't have a hard time doing that, but there are a number of different payment methods that aren't available to buy crypto with. And on these P2P exchanges, this is where you can find them. You're going to find, I'm just going to list off the top of my head, just 10 random payment methods. You've got TransferWise, Revolut, PayPal, Skrill, World Remit, Western Union, Cash, Gold. There's all kinds of random payment methods. I mean, there's got to be hundreds and hundreds of them. And with each of them, there's not going to be as much liquidity for these various payment methods compared to what you'd find on the centralized cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance, where they just do bank transfers, right? For a more obscure payment method, like we'll just say Payoneer, right? There's not going to be as many people selling Bitcoin for Payoneer. And as a result, there's a spread that can be made. Because there aren't tons of sellers, the people who are selling can charge a markup for their service and they can make money that way, right? And because there's fewer people that let me step back a moment. For those people that are selling Bitcoin via Payoneer, for example, those people have to be uniquely set up to accept payments by Payoneer in order to be able to facilitate their transactions. So you have to think about it from their perspective. They receive Payoneer funds, and you, the seller, will then have to send them Bitcoin. They then have to turn those funds back into Bitcoin, and that will usually involve them having to send those funds from Payoneer into their bank account, and then from their bank account back into a crypto exchange where they convert their funds back into cryptocurrency, and then they'll send it back into the respective peer-to-peer platform. They have to be set up for that. And that can actually be quite difficult because depending on the country, you might not be allowed to do that. And that's why I mentioned before the word jurisdictional arbitrage, because there are going to be many countries in the world, not all of them, but there are going to be some places where your government, your regulation, your banks are going to have no problem if you make a circular transaction like that. They may even welcome it. As long as you're paying tax, as long as you're abiding by whatever regulations they have, there should be no problem with doing that. But what you need to understand is that there are many countries that don't allow you to do that. And this is actually the case for many developed Western countries, right? So when you go on P2P cryptocurrency exchanges, you'll find that you're going to be dealing with a lot of people from Vietnam, Indonesia, Central Asia, Africa, Middle East, Eastern Europe, but you're going to have a very hard time finding a seller from Australia or Europe or America, because their regulations are a little too rigid to allow these kinds of exchanges to take place. So if you find that you're in a country that will allow for this kind of transaction to take place, then there you go. You can sell to people who can't do this themselves, and you can make money doing it. So imagine all these people, say they've got maybe an e-commerce store, and they are accepting funds via Payoneer. Now, if they were you, they would just send those funds onto back into their bank account, and then send the funds from their bank account to their cryptocurrency exchange, where they'll turn into crypto. Now, many people can't do that, particularly from people from Western countries. But if you're from a country that will allow that, you can essentially do that for them for a markup. You could charge them, I don't know, it's up to the market to decide. You could charge them 3%, 5%, maybe even 10%, right? So I'm giving you just an example. I don't want you to use that specific example. I'm trying to give you a framework of thinking about how one would be able to go about making money in the first place. You want to find a payment method where there's a higher barrier for entry. So what I mean by that is that there's not as much competition. Fewer people can compete with you, because the P2P trading market, it's competitive. So if you want to sell something and make 5% on your money for it, you've got to be in a payment. You've got to be in a payment method. You've got to be accepting funds via a certain payment method, where not everyone can do it. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody can start selling cryptocurrency in their payment method because their country won't allow it, or they can't sign up to that platform, or they've got other difficulties or whatever. And you happen to be in a situation where you're situated where you can actually facilitate those kinds of transactions. So if you want to make money in the P2P cryptocurrency world, you want to take stock of what kind of payment methods are available in your country. There's some countries where you can't sign up to some of these certain services. I don't know why. There's just various reasons why someone from Pakistan or whatever won't be able to get a Wise account. Maybe, I don't know, right? I'm just giving you some examples. You want to think about, in your country, what payment methods do you have access to? And if you were to facilitate this kind of transaction, would there be a problem with it? Would your bank debank you? Would you get an angry letter from a 3-letter agency telling you to cease and desist your actions? If you're not from a place that will do that, then you can consider going into this business and doing this kind of thing. So that's the way you can do it. You can also provide other services. So again, if your country allows it, maybe you can provide a P2P service where you're selling cryptocurrency and you don't require any KYC. Now, of course, this very much depends on whether your country will allow it. So if your country allows for this kind of thing, imagine you've got a service where you're selling cryptocurrency, maybe for a certain thing like bank transfer, right? And you're charging a certain rate, but people have to give you KYC. Well, maybe you charge another rate for people that don't have to do KYC, and you make money that way, right? So there's a number of different ways that you can sell, but it's going to take a lot of time for you to figure out your own personal strengths and advantages. You got to think about where you're situated in the world, where you are in life. Like, another example that's important is if you have another business already going on, like, for instance, especially you've got something like an e-commerce business where there's money already flowing into say PayPal, you're already accepting funds via PayPal for your digital marketing business or your freelancing business, you're accepting money via Payoneer. It means you've already got the infrastructure set up. So if more funds, say from a P2P buyer, was sent to your PayPal account, there shouldn't be any problem. And the reason why I mention this is because many people can't do this kind of trading activity, because if the average person doesn't have a PayPal account, they open a PayPal account and then suddenly they just start accepting all these friends and family payments from random people, their account's probably going to get shut down. So certain people are going to be better situated to accept payments via certain payment methods, and would be in a better situation to become a successful peer-to-peer seller. So that's another thing to take into account. And let me think if there's anything else I want to discuss in this. Just again, I can't go into too much specific details because I don't want to betray my own golden goose and give you exactly what I do. But within the P2P markets, I just want to open up the idea to you that there's so many possibilities within this. It's really a place where there's endless horizons when it comes to this stuff, because it's in a fairly untainted market. You don't really have any large institutional players in here yet. And the thing is very chaotic and very Wild West, I guess you could say. There's like hundreds of different payment methods in the peer-to-peer trading community, and there's always new ones being added. You've always got new types of buyers going in and out, and you've got different ecosystems that exist within the peer-to-peer trading world, where there's reasons for people to regularly deal in that market. So I want to give you an example, and I'm going to make a future video about this particular thing. Just to give you, I can give you a few examples about how some people make money in this world, just to give you an idea about maybe what you've got going on. Maybe you can give you some ideas for yourself. But one example is the Amazon gift card trading market, right? So it's something I used to be involved with. I don't do it anymore because it's just too much of a pain in the ass, and that's why I'm willing to tell you about it. But there are ways in which you can buy Amazon gift cards using your cryptocurrency in the P2P markets, and you can get like a 30% or to a 40% discount on those Amazon gift cards, providing you use Bitcoin to buy it. You then use those Amazon gift cards on your account, on your Amazon account, and then you buy discounted items. And then what can you do with those discounted items? If you're getting a 30-40% discount, it's very easy to make a profit on that. Maybe you can sell those items yourself. Maybe you can start your own drop shipping store. Maybe you can start your own Shopify store. Maybe you know some other people that are into drop shipping or something like that, and you can make a deal with them. It's like, hey, I will sell you these items at like a 5 to 10% discount. You just have to pay me in cryptocurrency, and then you've got like a circle going. So you get your Bitcoin, you buy discounted Amazon gift cards at a 30% discount, you use that on your account, you use those to buy discounted items from Amazon, you send them to someone who's selling those items, and you give that person like a 10% discount. So exchanging 30% discount for a 10% discount, boom, you keep 20% discount. So you keep a 20% margin, essentially, in cryptocurrency. So that's just one idea you can get. And so you can see what I mean by ecosystem is that you've got many different people with their own different ideas on how to make money, interacting with each other, and they're all involved in this P2P trading ecosystem. So there's you, the person who's arbitraging this, the person who's buying the Amazon gift cards. Then there's also the person who's selling Amazon gift cards. These are people that are often they do certain services and they get paid in Amazon gift cards, and they need you kind of as a broker to sell the Amazon gift card for them and to turn it into value. And then there's a person who's buying discounted things from you. So there's a whole ecosystem in this trading environment. And my goal for you is to try and find these different disparate ecosystems and try and get involved in there in some particular way. Now, if you keep watching my videos, you're going to get more and more ideas about ways in which you can go into these different ecosystems. I might drop hints about different ecosystems that exist, and then you can try find a way to go into them. You can find ways to contribute in them, and I might give some ideas about places or people or certain opportunities that would be better at trading in the P2P trading world. But I want to leave off by just letting you know that it can be very lucrative. You just have to find the right strategy within this, right? So you want to find, okay, what country are you in? What is allowed? What do the regulations say about it? If you can do it at all, then there's a chance that you've got a really good unfair advantage, because if you can do it, think about all the people that can't do it. You can then provide a service for them at like a 5% markup. You want to think about it like this: like if you can trade like $10,000 a week, and you're making like 5% off that, that's like 500 USD, right? Just as an example. I promise you, 10,000 trading 10,000 USD in volume is not really a whole lot of money. You'll get plenty of people who will trade bank transfer at tens of thousands of dollars at a time. You get people that will trade, wires, thousands of dollars at a time. It's quite doable, but you just got to find your niche, and unfortunately, that's where I can't go further into it, because I don't want to give you too many ideas, because those are my ideas and that's how I'm making money. So I can't give you too many details, but here are some stepping stones to help you. And what I also want to do to help you is I would like to give you some referral links for different P2P cryptocurrency exchanges where you can actually make great rates. So this is Local CoinSwap. It's a non-KYC, non-custodial exchange. And what's good is that what I will tell you about real quick is the fact that if you sell cryptocurrency on websites where they don't require KYC, you can charge a higher markup. You can charge a higher rate to your customers, as opposed to if you are selling on, say, Binance or Bybit or whatever. If you're selling on Local CoinSwap, or you're selling on HODL where there's no KYC, yeah, you can charge more for that. So if you're interested in selling on HODL or Local CoinSwap, you can use my referral link in the description below. You can start selling there. You can look at the different payment methods. You can see where there are buyers, where there are sellers, where there's competition, and you can see if there's a niche for yourself. If you can find some way to sell Bitcoin or cryptocurrency at like 4 or 5% markup, then you can start a whole business just around that alone. And if you decide that you don't want to sell on these non-KYC platforms, that's completely reasonable. You can instead use my referral link, again in the description below, to sign up with BitValve, Binance, Bybit, and also OKX. These are 4 P2P crypto exchange platforms that are all centralized, and particularly Binance, Bybit, and OKX. They're very large. They are centralized and KYC, but they're very trustworthy at the same time. And because they're very large, they've got a lot of liquidity. So maybe you might not make as much money. The rate will be lower, but you could probably do much larger volume without having a heart attack. So you could much more comfortably sell like $10,000 to $50,000 worth of Bitcoin, like in a single transaction, without worrying about whether you're going to get scammed or something bad is going to happen to you. The larger platforms do have their downside, again with the KYC and the custodial, but they'll give you better protection. So that's what I recommend. You can look at these 2 kinds of trading platforms, the more centralized and the decentralized kinds, to see where you might have an advantage. And so check it out. And if you're interested more in learning about debanking and P2P trading, I strongly recommend that you subscribe to this channel, because there's going to be a lot more videos coming up exactly like this. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.